there's something to be said for just living your life and wanting to be in it.
Where you've landed is extraordinary. You've done such a beautiful job considering your early age, humble beginning.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. And I realize that there is this toxic positivity.
Oh, yes. What if the next chapter of your life wasn't about starting over, but stepping into your strongest, most authentic self? Hello and welcome to Wisdom Stripes. I'm Meg Tuohey, and today's episode is about reinvention, resilience, and the power of leading with purpose, inside and out. Our guest is Adriana Martin, a wellness expert, TV personality, and host of the podcast Thank You, Next. With over 15 years in the fitness and wellness space and nearly 400,000 followers online, Adriana has built a global movement rooted in longevity, leadership, and emotional health. Through her programs and best-selling guides, she's helped thousands of people transform their bodies and minds, teaching that true wellness goes beyond workouts. It's about mindset, gratitude, and creating a lifestyle that sustains you through every season of life. This is Wisdom Stripes, your no-nonsense, fierce fairy godmothers, turning pain and confusion into clarity and confidence. Adriana, what wisdom do you hope listeners take away from your story today?
Aw, thank you so much, Meg, for having me here.
I am so happy to have you.
It's a wonderful question because what wisdom? It's like you never really know, right? Like life is up, is down. But I often tell myself, we are here, and when you think about it, it's not for that long of a period of time. It's relatively short, and we don't really know when the end will be, but it will happen. So while I'm here, I'm going to make the most out of it. And this has been me learning in my process because I was always very a perfectionist and I was always wanting to do the right thing. But now I realize that living my life and living your life is the right thing. And it's not going to look perfect, whatever that is, every single day. And I think that's perfection when you accept and you let go and you become empowered. I'm going to say ballsy, and you go, okay, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to make my mistakes. I'm going to own them and I'm going to keep going.
That is just such a lovely gift for our listeners. I know that you learned that through hard-earned walking through your own fires. Can you tell us how you came by that wisdom?
Well, I was born in Venezuela, South America. When I turned 21, I remember my mother saying, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I hesitated because I always felt like I had everything I wanted. And it wasn't material, but I was always a very much like, this is who I am type person. I don't care. And I don't have to apologize. I had that personality. I think sometimes you're born with a certain trait. And I have always been just very much, this is who I want to be, right? So I said, well, what I really want is your blessing. My blessing, yeah, because I want to move out of the country. I want to live in the United States and I want to go with your blessing. So she's like, you're 21. How? And I said, just give me your blessing. So I did. And I've been living in the United States since I was 21 by myself. I came here. I had no papers. I had a tourist visa that I converted into a student visa that I was out of status for 2 years after because I didn't know much how to navigate the whole immigration system. And I used to work at the flea market making $5 an hour. And, it's just been such a road of fighting my way through what I want to become, right? And in that process, I've realized that, you don't have to become anything. You are who you are. You have to just be. And that's how I arrived to a place of, if you're going to take care of your body, Do it because you love it, not because you hate the way you look. If you're going to wake up every day, wake up with intention, not just by default. If you're going to have a relationship, make sure it's meaningful. Whatever you do, you just got to make it count. And that's how I think this is my this is how I arrive to what I call living life with purpose, at least for me.
I love these premises already, as in I love the framework you've laid out for me to poke around in. And what I'd like to do is a thing that I call the yeah buts. Okay, so Adriana, these are the viewers who are like, yeah, but Adriana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, but of course, I get it.
So let's just poke some not holes. I don't want to do that. Let's poke around a little,
Mhm.
because the arc of that story is one of triumph. I didn't mean to make a Paris reference
Yeah,
just then. Totally
of course.
accidentally did. But it is. Where you've landed is extraordinary. You've done such a beautiful job considering your early age, humble beginnings.
Mhm.
Help us understand. Help us understand how you literally did it. $5 an hour, trying to figure out a system in a different language, in a different culture, all alone.
Mhm.
How does one find their way through that complexity?
Okay, so I've studied this, right? So I can give you the answer now that I know what I did in a more structured way, but it was very intuitive. Like at 21, you don't know, you just live, right? And I think intuitively, later on, I studied as a coach. So I have the whole scientific backup to back this up. But also, I realized that we know, like, you know intuitively what's right. You know intuitively when you're making that mistake that your brain said, no, do it, but you don't feel congruent. You know it wasn't probably the right move. So I'm going to say I've always followed my intuition. And that's what it is. And I
Mhm.
think it works now. It works for business. It works for your family, as a mom, as a spouse, as a friend. Your intuition, and it's called being in tune with yourself. Like I
Mhm.
think your intuition is guiding you constantly, but we question it. That's your yeah, but. Like, yeah, I feel this, but really, is this true or not? And I think it comes from when we're raised, and for moms out there, when you're raising your child, we often say, don't do this. No, 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 no. You want to do that, but you shouldn't. This is what you should do. And we bring all of those buts into their life so that when we're growing up, we question because we're not used to just understanding that what we feel, it is a guide of what are the things that you should do. Okay. So, yes, now I feel like I've been successful. I'm very thankful, but it wasn't always like that. Okay. The perception. Because when you're making $5 an hour working at the flea market, the perception may be like, oh, you're not successful. But let me tell you, I felt so successful making $5 an hour at a country that wasn't the one that I was born in, speaking with people that I truly, honestly didn't have the language, but I made myself understood by smiling, laughing, using my hands, sign language. That was success for me back
Absolutely.
then. you know,
Yeah.
like I had like I had a roof over my head. I didn't have money to eat every single day, like 5 meals or 3 meals. Sometimes I had to choose. I'm going to be honest. I used to eat a pretzel for $1.16 because that's all I could afford. And guess what? I felt like I was succeeding because I had a dream. I had a plan, and I was working my way to it, and I was working my plan. Okay. So now I realize I like to study quantum physics, and I realize that, you know, our brain, we have to think of this like present, past, future structure type of thing, even though that really doesn't exist.
It really doesn't exist.
Yeah, we need it.
We're doing quantum physics.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
But for the human experience, it does exist.
Yeah, and it's valid, right? Because
Very valid.
we have a body, and that's what my whole career has been based on honoring your body. So I did something early on that I didn't know was such a good thing to do.
Okay.
Projection, envision,
Ah,
look at and think of something and fantasize. Like, when they say the cliche, don't be afraid to dream big. I dream still at the back then even more. Now I'm older, so you get hurt and then you're like, okay, calm down. But at the time, my dreams were so vivid. Like if I dreamed of a house, I would picture the house, the color, the vibe, the smell, and I almost believed it to be so true, you know, that I was living it before it was actually happening. And now people saying success, fake it till you make it. Well, I've been faking it, okay, all this time until I realized that, oh, wow. And this is a question I asked myself many times. Did I dream of this because I thought it was going to happen to me? So I had a premonition? Or did I make this happen because I really believed I could? You know? So I think one of the key like success like tips here is believe in what you want to a point that you can see yourself living that life that you want so much and picture it with everything as if it was real. And then just wake up every single day and do the work. Do the work. It's cliche, like fall in love with the process, and everybody talks about it, but you do have to love the process, and you love the process when you understand that success comes with small steps every single day. It's not about getting there. Okay. Let me tell you something. I have lived situations and I've been so busy living it. And then I have a moment and I think, oh, wow, this is something that I wanted. This is something that I was dreaming about. And I didn't realize that I just accomplished my dream. I was so busy living the moment, I didn't even realize that it actually happened.
mm. You said a few minutes ago, and I caught it, and I'd love to know that you always had a plan. You always had a set of big dreams. Could you tell us about what those plans and dreams were?
So I was born, my mother, she's like, obviously, like my mom's the best. Okay. So, I mean, I have that mom that I can say she's the best mother in the world. And she taught me so much. She was a single mom and she had to work so hard to give me the best that she could. So she tried to put me in the best schools, in the best this and the best that. And in those places, I would see these kids that had mommy and papi, and they lived what to me at the time was so perfect and picture perfect. The house, the white picket fence, not the mom that had to work 3 jobs and I had to be my own babysitter many times and be a mom to my mom sometimes too because she was so tired and I could see it, and I had to be a dad or the male figure, the assertive when she was down, and like I had this whole set of situations happening, so I would see these kids where mommy and papi are here supporting them, and they had a dog and they had siblings. I'm my mother's only child. I have a sister from my father's second marriage whom I love, but I pictured perfection to be the family, the house, the white picket fence, the 2 kids, boy first, girl second, which I actually had a boy first and a girl second, and my dog. Okay. So to me, I was working so hard so that I could have that. And we were going to be doing very well financially. And I was going to have a very successful career. And I was going to be recognized. And I was going to be like, yay, you did it. You're not the crazy, broken home products of a broken home girl who has nothing. So I worked 40 years. I even moved out of the country. I did everything so that I could have that picture perfect moment. And I dreamed it, I accomplished it. And at my 40th birthday, I said, I'm 40. I was traveling in Europe with my ex-husband. We were fine, quote unquote, what I thought was fine. And I said to myself at that moment, I had a moment where I said, wow, I don't have to worry about money anymore. I'm not making $5 an hour. Like if I want to get this, and that and travel all over Europe, I can. I not even have to worry. Why am I not happy? Like, wait a second. I've been so busy working for my plan, to your question, right? That I forgot to really maybe decide that the plan that I was so set on isn't what's making me happy. Because again, everything has a good and a bad, the pros and cons. Yes, there's a pro to vividly dream and then go for it. But then you also have to keep your finger on the pulse and say, is my heart beating the right way? Is this really, truly, maybe 10 years ago, this is what I wanted, but now that I'm here, it's okay to be flexible and say, I no longer want this. I want something else. At 40 years old, midlife crisis or midlife awakening, whatever we want to call it, I said to myself, Adriana, how much longer are you going to be lying to yourself? When are you going to be brave enough to tell you the truth? Like, tell yourself the truth. Say it out loud. You've been creating this relationship. Everything looks perfect, but you're not in it. You're not, this isn't the life you want to live. You have created a life that looks perfect. Now guess what? Do you want to live in it? And I decided at 40 that I didn't want to be a part of that anymore because I was different and I had built something that was my plan. But it turns out that I forgot to put the soul into that plan. So here I am now.
Oh, that was so rich. I was mesmerized. Thank you for sharing that. But all of us want to know, what did you build? What happened? Adriana, don't leave us hanging. What happened next? What did you build? Who did you become? What did you tell us?
So I had very successful businesses, okay, all in the health. With my ex-husband, we had built in the health as well, more in the medical equipment, side, which is very profitable. We had done that. I had a very good, successful career as a coach, online, TV, product, info products, digital products, tangible products. Selling on QVC, HSN, infomercials, something that you would say, wow, girl, I mean, really? Good job.
Good?
Okay.
Wow, really? Good job.
I was like, yeah. And I'm like, why am I not? This is beyond like there's something to be said for just living your life and wanting to be in it. Like just sitting back with your cup of coffee and maybe not having all those awards that or whatever, but just being happy in your couch. Everything is not performance based,
Correct.
right? And I said to myself, in order for me to know what that is, because I didn't know what it was anymore, but I knew what I didn't want to be and where I didn't want to be. So, in order for me to find what it is, I have to stop living what I know it's not. Okay. So, I made the really tough decision to decide and ask to re question our relationship, which we went to therapy for therapists. It wasn't like I want to get a divorce. It was just like, this isn't working. This isn't working. The natural process. I'm sure people here that have been through it understand how tough it is, how hard it is, the guilt, the kids, the negotiation, because I was willing to negotiate my own happiness for the happiness of my kids and everything that it looked to do that. And that took 2 years.
Okay.
Okay. That took 2 years from the day that I say, tell yourself, Adriana, the truth to actually making that decision.
Okay. Because it takes as long as it takes.
And it took me 4 therapists because then I blamed it on the therapist. I was like, she's not helping me. She's not helping me. She's not fixing the situation. Until, Adriana, the situation is what it is. So I get a divorce 2 years later, right? In that process, pandemic, COVID,
Yes.
I get a message on Instagram
Okay.
from an ex-boyfriend
Okay.
that's like just little emoji. And I go, wow, he was my first boyfriend when I came here to the United States.
Oh,
Okay.
that's.
You're seeing him right
I
there.
did wonder. I did wonder if it was
It's
Jonathan, but I, of course, was just letting it up.
you two was just letting me
I was
say.
just letting it be. Okay,
So,
girl.
I mean, the story keeps on going and going. So, we had been friends because we grew in that time when we were 21. You know, we were both immigrants. He was born here, but he was taken to Venezuela when he was 2, so he's a Venezuelan too. And then he arrived to the United States and we met at one of the jobs that we had. We used to work at the mall and we were friends with everybody that worked at the mall, and we became this family of like the people that don't have a mom here and you don't have your dad here. So we got to spend Thanksgiving together. We got to create our old community, our home. So we created this little society of family. Like we created this family. So we stayed friends with many people. Even though we broke up, we had these like friends in common. And I followed him on Instagram and social media, the power of social media. And I followed his ex, who's a great girl. We were all friends, right? And I see that she took down all his photos.
Oh,
And I figured, I think they broke up. you know, that girl in me, I'm like, girl, come on. I think they broke up. So when he reached out, I said to him, hey, I got a divorce, right? And he's like, I had no idea. Me too. And he said immediately, we should get together today and catch up. This is the second chapter, like you asked, right? How I didn't know at the time when I was destroying, because that's what it felt like. I was destroying the castle that I had built. I didn't know at the time that intuition, that feeling of this isn't right, that I had to justify with my brain, right? That's why I went to therapy for so long. That's why I negotiated for so long. That's why I did everything that I could because I mentally needed to fix this. But when I realized it was not, the right way, because I love the father of my kids.
of course you do.
I love him deeply.
I'm sure he's wonderful.
He's an amazing man and nothing bad happened. But I see him now and he has a wonderful relationship. And I see him with this beautiful woman. And I realize and I look at him, and because I know him so well, I'm like, he's right where he needs to be. He's happy. She's happy. They're happy, And now that I'm living my life with Jonathan, we've been together for 5 years now. Everything has changed. My personality, the way that I feel life and I navigate through life. I'm still this type A person who wants to accomplish, but I do it with so much soul and happiness and ups and downs. I remember when we started the relationship, I used to have this saying in Spanish, no pasa nada. I would say all the time, ay, Johnny, no pasa nada, meaning nothing is really a problem. Like everything is cool. It's like a saying like everything's fine. Everything is fine. The translation is everything's fine. And he used to say to me, stop right there. It's okay for things not to be fine. And at the beginning, I was like, you're so negative. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. And I realized that there is this toxic positivity
Oh, yes.
that, I guess culturally sometimes we nurture. And I was brought up in a situation that was sometimes so chaotic, Meg, that I had to tell myself, the young version of me, the 5-year-old, the 10-year-old, that had to parent herself in many times, not because my mom wasn't a good mom, but because she was working a lot. And my father is a great father and we have a great relationship now. But at the time, he was dealing with his own life too. And he wasn't there for me the way that I felt that I needed. And it wasn't because it wasn't there, it's just that I didn't feel it,
Yes,
you know?
I do.
And what I used to tell myself is everything is fine. Just keep going. Everything is fine. Everything's fine. And it was so empowering to lie to yourself, to say to yourself everything's fine. It keeps you going, right? And then people go, "Wow, you're so strong. Wow, you're so tough." Wow. But it's toxic.
Well, it was a strategy that worked for you until it didn't. And the thing that got you to here doesn't always get you to the next thing. And
100%.
you had this lovely, beautiful Jonathan human
Yes.
who was like, honey, like I've got space for you to be everything.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
And so then you got to put down the strategy that saved your life and pick up a bigger one or a different one. It's
Yeah.
maybe a better way of saying it. So it's not wrong that you did it. It saved your life. And then when you were ready, your next partner, and I don't mean like a romantic partner, I mean kind of like energetic partner said, hey, there's more that is available here and I can hold that with you. I'd like to do that with you. And you were like, I don't know what that is. That's new to me.
Yes.
And so that is the beauty of the duality of belonging to somebody who calls you home to yourself.
I love that, Meg.
Now here you are. But don't let me stop. Keep going because I am listening. I love this. We love Jonathan. But the thing is, you also do the same for Jonathan. And I'm pointing off stage for anyone watching this video.
Yeah.
I mean, listening to the audio, not watching the video, because Jonathan's right here.
Yes.
But the thing about any relationship is that we're both mirrors of each other and we both call each other into our higher selves, our greater good. I have a book coming out called Heartprint, which is about who you really are and living life in accordance with your unique fingerprint, but it's your heart. And so the more that you're called into it by your loved ones and the more you accept their influence and grow into the congruent version of who you really are, the better life gets, the contentment, the satisfaction, they all increase. And as you're telling the story, I can see you going back to your heartprint more and more and more and more. So then what happened? Hi, wise woman, Meg here. Have you ever felt like you're doing all the right things, but something still feels off? Here's what I've learned after helping thousands of people navigate their deepest challenges. You haven't lost yourself. Your true essence, what I call your heartprint, is still there, waiting beneath the daily pressures, societal expectations, and that constant feeling that you should be more than you are. In my new book, I share the intimate story of two women who will help you remember who you are and trust your inner wisdom again. Visit megantuohey.com/book to pre-order Heartprint and begin your journey back to yourself.
I love what you're saying because, it takes, to me, it was very brave to allow myself to be vulnerable. To me, it was very hard. Like I had to work on being brave.
Well, darling, did you ever have the experience growing up? Had you ever had it?
I was growing up. I always felt like I had to be watching my back.
There we go. So everything has to be fine.
Yeah.
Because if it's not fine, who's got you?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Jonathan's got you now.
She's gonna make me cry, Tony.
And darling, you've got you because you got you first. So that came through in your story already.
Yeah.
And now he's got you and you get to know what that feels like. And that little girl has been dreaming of that since she entered this earth, into this context, the cards that you were dealt. And look at you.
For everyone listening, I have tears.
Yeah, you do.
There's tears in my face.
You're beautiful because like you earned this stripe. This is a wisdom stripe
Yeah.
and it's yours and you built it brick by brick over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And here's the culmination of that. And you're in that moment where you're like, look at what I did from that beautiful little girl who saved her own life and followed her own heartprint and grew all the things that were important. And then when they shifted and changed, she listened and responded and grew with it.
Yeah.
And now you found yourself in this expression of your heartprint, and there is only more to come. Your heartprint expands infinitely.
You're
So you'll
so
never
good.
so you'll never get it done. And you
I
got
want to keep
such
you. I want to keep you in my pocket.
pop me in, baby. Pop me in.
Yes.
Because this is what you're telling me, and it's your lived experience. And it's such a beautiful gift for our listeners to see and hear and feel what a journey looks like, because everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
And also, we have similar underpinnings,
Mm-hmm.
similar concepts that guide us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, that to me, is still mind blowing. Like, I was willing, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like that. There's got to be more people like this. I don't think that I've ever had a conversation where somebody has said to me, I agree with you, I've lived it, because it's embarrassing. But I was willing to marry somebody that I loved but wasn't in love because of the safety that if they leave me, I'm in control. Being in love, it's scary
It's so
because,
vulnerable.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
But you had never had that experience of being vulnerable. So no wonder you chose something safe.
yes.
I would too. I think most of us would relate to that in some form or another.
And safety feels so good when
Like
you're,
finding solid ground.
yes,
And you have never had the luxury, because
exactly.
being safe in the context in which you're born is a lovely, lovely experience, and not all of us get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then taking the leap of faith has taken so much growth to say, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be in love. I'm going to be with somebody that I'm in love, which means that if they leave me, because this is my pattern, right? Like I was always scared of my father leaving and not coming back, or, like he's always there for me now as an adult. But when I was younger, I, I, I needed that. And I was always so scared that I would say, I was always wanting to be the one that was being loved more so that I could be in control and stay, because I got me. I know I can stay. But if somebody else leaves me, it's going to be so painful.
Oh, darling.
And to live life so safe, it's like it sounds good because you're safe. I felt good because I'm safe, but it's also so sad, so empty, because it turns out that and this is what I've been living for the past 5 years, and it's changed my career, it's changed so many things. But when you feel strong enough, and this is personal growth, right, where you say, I'm here, I am worth it, of being loved and of loving back. And if there's a problem, the world doesn't stop. You just deal with it. I mean, it's okay to say, I'm not fine. I have an issue. I have a problem. We're not doing good. Let's make it better. Yes, but it's okay to have a little chaos, and to feel like, please don't leave me, and then say, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Can we fix this? And I think it's not just in relationships. I think it's like that in every day. And it was easier for me as a type A personality to focus on achieving than it was to focus on just living. That took so much from me to say, I'm going to sit here. I'm just going to be a person. I'm just going to honor the feelings. Like you said, I'm going to feel my heart, get out of my head, get into my heart, and just be brave enough to feel.
Well, it's an unfamiliar experience. You didn't get to. You maybe as a baby you did before you realized that there were gaps in your very well-meaning, lovely parents' way that they were able to raise you.
Mhm.
And those gaps meant that someone had to cover you. And so guess what? You were the person who covered you.
Yeah.
And so you grew into the lovely version of you that could be the adult you needed. And then you could unbuild or take down, as an easy way to say it,
Yes.
take down those experiences and expand into the whole self, where you can experience vulnerability, experience emotions, experience safety, experience getting it wrong and still being cared for and being safe again. We're going to say it again.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful arc of a storyline and also a really lovely knowing that, no, let me try that again. It's really clear that by following that intuition and that heart print of yours,
Mhm.
it led you back to who you really are.
Mhm.
And your whole journey allowed you to do the work, to close the loops, to answer the questions, to come home to yourself.
I love it. When you speak and I hear you, it's like I'm thinking, it's so fun to be alive.
Yes.
Right? It's so fun to be okay with living this experience.
Yeah.
And when in my career, I always say, honor your body because it's the machine that God gave you to live this, you know? And I did bodybuilding for many years because, of course, now that we've established that my pattern was to always do good, you know?
But also strength and safety,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
Got a strong body, like, don't mess with me.
Exactly. And I control it,
You
right?
can control it.
I can control it and I can build it the way that I need to build it to be what I thought that I had to be. And, now that I have said to myself, and I thank you so much for what you just said because it gives me, this is a therapy session you're giving me. Thank you. You're so amazingly good. Um, no wonder you have your own podcast and are on the third tour.
Thank you.
Wow, it's incredible. You're incredible. But, just allowing to say, look, this is what I needed in order to get to where I'm at and close those loops and not leave them unclosed or halfway done. You know, I think that that's truly when, and I think it comes with certain age to be able to say, look, I have a bunch of unfinished businesses in my heart and in my mind. Like there's a ton of things that I haven't dealt with. Life is here to deal with this. And I need my body for that.
Mm.
I cannot do this without this machine that keeps me going. I have understood beyond bodybuilding because I started in this business to I help you lose weight, let me help you lose weight, let me create products that help you lose weight and look good and tone up and always a mental aspect because I have been a very deep person since I was born. It's the way that I am. So yes, always adding that mental, you know, self-esteem aspect, but not to the level of what I know now and talk about now, you know. And it is because at the end of the day, when the day's bye bye, this is the last day of your life, everything that you went through was possible because you had your body.
Oh,
And to honor it. And you mentioned, the heart and you touch your chest when you mentioned the heart. And how often do we think of that muscle in there that is beating for you, that is not asking you for a day off, that is never saying, can we please take a break? No, it's just there, whether you feed it right, whether you nurture it, whether you acknowledge it, whether you touch it with your putting your hand on your chest and listening to the heartbeat or feeling the heartbeat or just it exists no matter what you do. So with this whole idea of being better people comes honoring the one vehicle that allows you to do all of this. And you talked about the heart, and the heart is the most important muscle in your body. Without it, you're not here anymore, you know? And how often, and this is a question for your listeners and the people watching, how often do you wake up in the morning and say, and this is a practice that I have been, doing for a while now, and I coach on it, and I say, did you put your hand on your chest today and just stay there for 2, 3 seconds until you felt it? Like just find the heartbeat. And when you feel it, did you say, I'm so, yes,
Thank you.
thank you. I am so grateful that you're beating for me. That is the number one thing to be thankful for. And then to say, what do you need? Because I have will, I have the power to choose what I'm going to do with today. You know, I don't have the power to say, stop beating, beat faster, go, at a certain rhythm
Yeah.
or like, no, you're doing it on your own. It's involuntary. It's an involuntary movement. But I do have the power to say, how can I make you stronger? How can I honor you today? Give you more oxygen, give you more power. When you do that, all of a sudden going for a walk takes a whole different meaning.
What's a whole different perspective?
Yes.
It's like a partnership.
Yes.
And we talked about your partnership with Jonathan and what that has given you.
Mhm.
Imagine, my loves, if you were in partnership with that beautiful heart of yours from a heart print perspective and from a physical perspective. I feel like those two things would have you be extraordinary in your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Then we talk about muscles, right? Like people think, and for so many years I was like, I gotta grow my deltoid and I have to, you know, define my triceps. And I was, I'm teaching people how to get strong, get rid of body fat, all of that, right? And now look at this. So you have all these bones. Think about it, right? Your skeleton system. You have all these bones. They're surrounded by something, and it is what makes your bones move. Without your muscles, your bones are just bones. They would not be able to move. You wouldn't be able to hug the people that you love. You wouldn't be able to walk to your car to go to the places that you want to go. Like these muscles, this muscle tissue surrounding your organs and your bones, it's prime real estate. This is the most important investment that you need to be taking care of, because without it, you are deteriorating, and so is your life. Another organ that I want everybody to really pay attention to, and it is for me that, the coolest of all, is your diaphragm, because it controls your breathing.
Mm.
When you're nervous, you breathe very fast
Yes, you do.
and you get altered. And it is the only organ that you can actually control by thinking about it. So you can say, all right, I can feel that you're going a little too fast. Let's calm down. And you can actually control it.
Yes. Drop that breath in your belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're busy doing something else and you're not thinking about it, it's still working for you. You don't have to coach it, which is so cute.
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, understanding that personal growth and mental health is 100% linked to your physical being, and understanding the concept of being one with yourself and working in partnership, like you said, not as the victim of your hormones or a victim of your age or a victim of, the circumstances that your body's going through. It's you're the creator, you're the co-creator. You can lead longevity. That's why I call longevity and leadership, because lead your longevity. Like, be at any age, feel vibrant. Don't be scared to say, I arrived here, I built this life, I want to redirect.
Mm.
I want to redesign. I am going to honor it, but it's time for the next chapter. You know, you wouldn't be able to do this without your body. So understanding that is a superpower.
Oh, it really is, and I've never heard it phrased like that. What a beautiful gift to humanity.
Thank you.
Yes. You know, honey, this has gone really fast. We've had the best time. And I have one last question for you. What wisdom would you like to leave us with today?
Well, you mentioned my podcast, Thank You Next. And I think that's it. We have to be so thankful for everything that's gotten us here. Okay, and everything that we have done. But also, we got to just say at some point in our life, next. I'm not a victim of my past, of my decisions, of what happened, of what it is. I'm thankful for everything. Be thankful for everything, the good, the bad. We know that that's, what makes life. But also, just get ready for the next chapter, girl, because what's coming could be even better. And just get excited about that. Get excited about your present and also about the future because you're still alive, you're still here. There's a lot more to do, a lot more to live, a lot more fun, a lot more love, a lot more abundance, a lot more health to come. So let's do it.
Let's do it. What a joy of a conversation. Thank you so much for coming into the studio today.
Thank you so much for having me. You are amazing.
Mm.
I will be forever connected to you from now on.
Yeah,
So get ready.
we are soul sisters.
Yes.
Yeah, because you were talking and I hadn't talked too much yet. And I was like, we are about to see how complementary we are.
I love it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for coming. How lucky we are that we got this time together. Yeah,
I'm very grateful for
me
it.
too. A heartfelt thank you to Adriana Martin for joining me today on Wisdom Stripes. Her story is a beautiful reminder that transformation doesn't begin in the gym, it begins in the mind. Adriana shows us that when we lead with self awareness, balance, and gratitude, attunement, and connection, health becomes more than a goal. It becomes a partnership and a way of life. To learn more about Adriana's work, tune into Thank You Next podcast or follow her on Instagram at Adriana Martin Fit. And to stay connected with me, follow at Meg Tuohey Official on Instagram. Thank you for listening to Wisdom Stripes. I'm Meg Tuohey, and I hope you gained a little wisdom today. Thank you for listening to this episode of Wisdom Stripes. Follow me on at Meg Tuohey Official and leave a comment and review. I'm looking forward to meeting you here next time on Wisdom Stripes.